Hello, my name is Eduardo Rivera, and I will be doing an analysis presentation on 2026 California Law AB 419. Students, know your rights. What I will discuss the pros and the cons sides of this bill. But first, let's begin with what AB 419 is. Do you know what AB stands for? I'll give you a minute. AB stands for Assembly Bill. And AB 419 is a California Assembly bill that requires public schools to post and share clear information about students' rights regarding immigration enforcement. And who introduced this bill, you may ask? Well, this bill was introduced by Damon Connolly, a Democratic Assembly member representing the 12th District. Connolly introduced the Bill 419 to ensure, and I quote, that all children have a right to equal access to free public education, regardless of their parents' guardians' immigration status. And what exactly is the purpose of this bill? Well, the purpose of this bill requires schools to post the California Attorney General's immigration enforcement action at California School Guide for students and families in administrative buildings, at school sites, and on school and district websites in every language the Attorney General provides. Now that we know what AB stands for, I will explain the debate around AB 419. First, the strongest pro argument, and then the strongest con argument. Let's begin. The strongest pro argument is that AB 419 supports schools' attendance by lowering fear and confusion for immigrant students and families. In a research conducted by Professor Thomas Dee, Stanford economy policy researcher and education economist over Stanford University, was discovered that student absences increased after immigration enforcement activity began early last year, showing how fear disrupts schooling. Analyzing 3 years of daily attendance data from 5 school districts in the Central Valley, the students found on average a 22% increase in students' absences in January and February 2025, compared with the same months in previous years. In another study, scholars at UCLA performed a survey to high school principals around the California school district. Many schools reported that students from immigrant families miss school and experience learning declines connected to immigration policies or rhetoric. AB 419 targets this problem by requiring schools to post the California Attorney General, Rob Bonta, guide at school sites and on school district websites in every language the Attorney General provides, so families see clear and consistent rights information, which supports attendance and continued engagement in school. There's no doubt that a big pro of a Bill 419 is to support students on their school journey, taking away as many obstacles as possible. Students at school should be able to focus on their studies, knowing that their school will have accurate information available for them and their parents on times of representatives. And now for the cons. The strongest con argument is that AB 419 adds new mandated duties for school districts while risking more stress for some students. the Assembly Appropriation Analysis lists that AB 419 as a state-mandated local program and says district must post the Attorney General's guide at every single school site, in all administrative buildings and district websites, which creates compliances work and cost overtime. So essentially, more work, more spend, same budget. At the same time, research on immigration enforcement climate in schools show high levels of fear, distress, and behavior changes tied to enforcement concerns. So posting immigration enforcement materials in prominent school spaces might intensify anxiety for some students during the school day. AB 419 aims to keep students connected to California schools by requiring schools to post the California Attorney General Immigration Enforcement Guide on campus and online in multiple languages. Even the cons of this bill tends to point to a clear direction. AB 419 is a must-have in schools. The strongest pro-argument is that clear. Trusted right information help reduce fear-driven absences and protect learning. The strongest con argument is that the bill adds compliance at work and costs for districts. And the posting might increase the stress for some students by keeping enforcement fears visible at school. But even with those concerns, the pro side is stronger because school attendance is a basic requirement for learning, and missed days create a long-term academic harm. AB 419 targets a real barrier for attendance, confusion and fear with a direct, low-cost action compared to large programs changes. The posting requires also sets one consistent standards across school, so families receive the same guidance instead of mixed messages. For that reason, the pro stands as a stronger case for supporting student access to education. AB 419 was signed by Governor Newsom on October 12, 2025, and chaptered by the Secretary of State the same day. To find the immigrant enforcement actions at California School Guide for students and families, you can go directly to the California Attorney General's website and the California Department of Education CDE, which I will post on the links below. All sources and information were taken directly from the California Legislature official websites, Stanford University, and UCLA websites. Remember to know your rights. Be safe. Thank you for your time. See you next time.